we could probably get to the other side of the back rooms and find what we need to find a bed here. And then, to be honest, this could be a nice little base for the night. Trouble is, we have to navigate the back rooms in the dark. And honestly, it's now got a very different feel to it. Oh, I think that might have just been an artifact from the corner, but I thought I saw something. Whoa, check out the new store. Oh, there we go. Hello everybody, and welcome back, after quite a while, to the SCP-3008 series. But this is not Lone Survivor, this is The Store is Closed. Months of radio silence for the developer, and now, all of a sudden, everything has changed. We've got auto-saving, we've got new departments, we've got the underground laboratories. There's just so much to explore, and we can finally dive into a full series here because we've got saving as well. There is so much information to tell you today, so what we're going to do is the mission for this episode. I'm just going to try and get myself somewhere nice and cozy that we can crawl up and have a good time for the night, while I try to explain the millions of things that have been happening for the development of this game and all that jazz. I mean, what the hell is this thing already? Jesus, leave me be, please.
The store is now closed. Run away?
I'm running. You're like, I don't know what that is. It's got like roots. Spooky. Right, so I need to remember how to play this. What was that thing over there? What the hell is that? It's glowing. That looks amazing. So I guess I'll start with the patch notes of this one. And with this new update, I've mentioned we got autosaving. That's fantastic. That means we can finally get stuck into this game and really kind of explore it for what it should be, which is going to be a really fantastic time, to be honest. We've got a couple of new departments. We've got the garden area, and we've got a kids area, like for toys and stuff. I'm realizing that the game's already got a bit of lag going on it, so I'm probably going to need to turn some of that down in the settings and probably make it so it's a bit smoother for you guys. Of course, the game is still in an alpha version, and it will be for quite a while now. We've got a bit of an estimated release date, which is in Q3 of 2024. So, you know, it's quite a while away. But we can imagine that all the way up until that point, and that's only the release into early access, by the way. So this alpha state that we're seeing here, super, super early. Really is. But we're going to see many more of them to come, so it's going to be a wild ride, that's for sure. For instance, escalators into death. Okay. But to be honest, having loads of bugs in a game is kind of fun. As long as they're not game-breaking, they can be a good time, so I'm not too worried about it, to be honest. One thing I do want to check out is see if we've got a slightly different inventory here. It's mentioned that in the patch notes as well, there's a couple of added weapons, as well as a kind of like reworked crafting system. Not in the way that you kind of craft them, but I think more to do with the way that you build them. You've got these kind of like monies here. I guess maybe you need that to price things, or maybe that's just for show. But of course, the materials is really what we're after here, which is the torn fabric times 10. If we look into our weapons here, new weapons you'll see, we've got the chainsaw, crossbow, flamethrower, and then the hammer and the sledgehammer from the other alpha mode. And of course, our teeny tiny map, which this thing just keeps getting bigger and bigger. To be honest, it probably really is the infinite IKEA, because this thing's just going to keep growing as we kind of grow out there. And then a debug menu, which is more to do with, I guess, multiplayer stuff, if you want to teleport to the players to the spawn point. It's just good to have, I guess, if you're trying to play that sort of multiplayer style game. But I'll keep punching the furniture here, and we'll discuss some of the other things. So I guess I will say quickly, if you are new to either the SCP Foundation or the idea of this game, or the idea of SCP-3008, the Infinite IKEA, then I recommend I have a video that I made very early on in this game series where I kind of did a bit of a whistle-stop tour of what those things are. The SCP Foundation, 3008, the kind of mechanics of this game, the ideas behind what's going to be coming in the future, that sort of thing. So if you want to go and see that, then that's probably a good place to start. But I can imagine that most of you people are quite in tune with all of this stuff by now. Medkit. Nice. So have I got that in my inventory? I do. Oh, so that's the quantity. So when you see here 51, it means there's probably a maximum of 51 mattresses that we can make. Ah, and I guess that's where we actually sleep. So we have to be careful where we plonk our 51 mattresses in this humongous zone that we're going to eventually explore here. Yeah, really cool. Canteen. Forgot about food. Food's going to be essential. Oh, and you forget just how good the food looks in this game. With the waffles and the pizzas. I've not been to an IKEA myself, so I don't exactly know if the food is of this quality. I've heard the meatballs are legendary, but to be honest, looking at pictures of them, they really don't look that legendary. But it's all in the taste anyway. It's all in the taste. Oh, take a look at the overview as well. No shortage of canteens in this one. I want to go over there as well. Mustn't forget the mission of the day, though. We're just here to find a bed, to cozy down, and make sure we survive the night. But the Kickstarter for this game has officially launched. It launched a couple of days ago from the time of this video. And they advertised a lot of interesting stuff for this. I can already show you if I go into the menu here and click input. You'll see that there is Xbox and PlayStation input sections already kind of integrated here. So you better believe it, it's coming to consoles as well. That's actually really crazy. There's not really that many SCP games that will exist on consoles, if any at all. So to get this on there is going to be really, really good. And as a slight side of, I guess, like a side plug as well, SCP Fragmented Minds, which has just received its Kickstarter approval, is also coming for Xbox as well. But they haven't said anything about PlayStation, so maybe not. Either way, 2 new SCP games announced for consoles is going to be fantastic. I've just noticed the mannequin, and I've noticed that there's some more over there somewhere. Hi. Just gonna break it, I guess? Good. Mannequins are creepy. And I think we should probably kill them if we can. Ooh, sounds like a TV back here. And then in this one, I'm so excited, I keep stumbling on my words. In this one, you can break everything. You can break the walls, you can break the furniture. I don't think you can break the floor, actually. But in the future, I'm sure you will be able to break the floor, to be honest. Oh my god, we needed to press E on the materials. I've collected nothing. Okay. We're a little bit far behind, but it's okay. It's the first night. It's fine. Ooh, there's one. Nice. Yeah, so the Kickstarter promises so much. It really does. Yeah, I think for some people who are a bit more along the lines of they would like this game to be more authentic to the SCP-3008 concept, that's exactly the opposite of what we're getting. I think you need to start thinking of this game as more of like a tribute or an ode to the SCP Foundation as a whole, because the things that are coming are absolutely wild. Another one. Holding its stomach? There's something weird about these. Give it a little butt tap. Oh, I really need to get over there. I really, really, really want to go over there. Okay. Kickstarter. Yes. So we know from the Kickstarter, or we know from the early kind of announcement of this game, we've got the idea of managers. Managers being these humongous 3008 entities. Absolutely massive kind of boss battles that you might face by either exploring too much or maybe by breaking enough furniture, causing enough kind of like, I guess like, quote, bounty on your head to cause a manager to come after you. And they're going to increase in power the more you kind of like do, I guess, the longer you stay in the building and the base. That one just fly. Ooh, made it to the bed department though. And of course, we also know that there are sky bases and underground bases. I'm not sure, maybe the sky bases give you more along the material side of things. And the underground bases give you more alongside the lore. But with these new departments, we've got a couple more opportunities for newer entities.
How many table legs do you have?
4? No. Okay, so they are a bit more aggressive, but I think we can get away with avoiding them at least for tonight. I'm going to see if we can create a weapon as well. Maybe that will help us out. No. Right. Problem. Yes, but we have these new departments. So in the garden area, there's been teased these enemies. I think they're called like the biters. And they look kind of a bit Five Nights at Freddy's kind of inspired. They're like these happy little sunflower things, but with like human mouths and big teeth.
Leave the store.
Oh, I'm sorry. Let's just get nice and far away. And I'm not exactly sure what they do, but they look menacing and they look very creepy. So if we make it into a kids department today, then I don't know if they're in this game or not. It wasn't in the patch notes, but the mannequins weren't in the patch notes, so who knows. The mannequins have been advertised as something that we need to keep our eye on. So that's exactly what I plan to do. Although I think I've already lost that one that we were looking at earlier. Over there. Not sure if the mannequins have behavior yet. That's why I'm kind of a little bit on edge at the moment. But I really don't know. And I think that they belong probably in the garden department. Oh! So this thing here is the underground bases. And we do have access to them now. And this must be almost like a portal system? So you might be able to use it to jump between the various underground facilities? That would be nuts. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can... Oh, that looks trash, but it does improve things a lot. So it's the shadows causing the lag. Maybe I can counteract that. Something like this? We'll give it a go. Yeah, and then we got the concept of these underground bases. So the idea behind the underground bases is that you go down and they're being controlled by the SCP Foundation. So the SCP Foundation is here, which is where we start to kind of deviate a bit from the idea of the document, because I think the SCP Foundation send drones in to investigate, but I don't think that they're actually present here. But in this game, they're going to be present, and they're going to be researching the IKEA store underneath it in these facilities. So when you go down there, there's going to be real SCP researchers doing real research on the entities, and they're probably going to get a little bit agitated when they see you down there. But I think the coolest thing about it is that it also seems like there's going to be other entities down there. So not just things inspired by SCP-3008, but it looks like they're also going to be containing some other things. And I'm not entirely sure, but from the GIFs, it looks a bit like there's going to be things roughly along the lines of 049. Maybe we're going to see the classic 173. Entities like that existing in 3008 is going to be wild. And to be honest, while again, it kind of detracts away from what 3008 is meant to be, it does sound exciting. And I think that would be a brilliant tribute to the SCP Foundation and the game in general. So I'm really hyped for that. And of course, it also kind of teased the fact that you might be able to cause your own containment breach down there by letting out these entities to kind of roam around the base and destroy the SCP guards that are down there, which is going to allow you to kind of get all of the tech and whatnot. So that sounds awesome. Then we have this idea of the sky bases. The sky bases is something that you can see here. It's kind of like these departments that are floating a lot higher than all the other stuff. But again, not too much on what's actually in there. So your guess is as good as mine. We're literally just going to have to build our way up and find out for ourselves what's there. Is going to be the plan, I think. Oh my god, that was a lot of health. And I've kind of jumped into like a weird ditch as well. What is going on here? Another one of the absolutely bonkers things planned is there's going to be pocket dimensions. And it alluded to the fact that there's going to be more than one pocket dimension. But the one pocket dimension they did advertise is that at some point during your experience in the Infinite IKEA, you may find yourself no-clipping out of reality, and you guessed it, ending up in the Backrooms. So we've got this crazy crossover of SCP and Backrooms, and there's going to be similar Backrooms entities that are associated with that kind of area. And as I mentioned, they alluded to the fact that there might be more than one kind of pocket dimension that you find yourself going into. So who knows what's planned for all the other stuff. There's a kind of like siren head looking entity in the warehouse, which I just suddenly remembered. Again, I'm not sure if these things are just teased, whether they're in this update or not. We're kind of like walking around here seeing if we can find anything. And I've seen a warehouse over here, so maybe we can go have a look. But they've kind of got like televisions on their head. And they've got that kind of like siren head looking grey body within them as well. I don't know what's going on with you. It's creepy. How do we get in there? Probably with brute force. Do I have a weapon yet? Oh, I crafted something. Yes. Okay. Probably should have got the big one, but this will do. Ah! Daytime. And my god, does it look gross without the shadow. Yeah, better. Seems like they didn't fix the no audio after the first day thing, which means I'm going to have to put some lovely music in the background while we explore here. Otherwise, it's just completely silent. I really hope I can break this, and I don't need a sledgehammer for it. Yes, we're in. Still trying to find a place that I want to call home. I don't think the warehouse is it. Doesn't really feel nice to me. I think probably either the kids zone or the garden's going to be nicest, depending on which one I'm feeling at the time. I always liked the garden zones at garden centers. They were really good. And I always liked kids zones when I was a kid. We had Toys R Us back in the day. That was so good. Toy Master now is kind of the store that's replaced that. It's got that same similar feel to it. The very big warehouses just absolutely ram-packed with toys. Really cool. But we shall see. Oh, it's a shame that all these elevators don't have like a little platform at the end. Gotta do your little hop over. Also interesting that the female entities disappeared as well. There used to be like a female 3008 instance. But that's gone.
You shouldn't be here. Take your items to the checkout.
I'll take you to the checkout. In a bag. Similar ragdoll physics. It's putting things in the backpack when I hit E on it. What are we picking up? Oh, just pressing E puts things in the backpack. Okay. Things that we don't have. Ah, we see loads of TVs up here. Huh. Let's go have a look. Maybe we'll run into something creepy. Maybe we won't. Just being here with all the TVs buzzing, though. It is a bit weird. Gives you that kind of backrooms feel. Something's not entirely right here. So yeah, there's some really, really bonkers things planned for this game. And I do think it's going to separate it a hell of a lot from Lone Survivor. And that might be a good thing.
Leave the store now.
Oh, I'm coming for you. I'm coming for you. If I have to break down this entire shelf to get there, I'm coming. Well, I'll race you. First one to break it. It's going to be me. And when it is, I'm going to punch you in the face. I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm not entirely sure we can break this thing, but I'm still coming for you. I'll come this way. Can I get in? Yes, I'm in. Bah! Bah! Yeah! Yeah! Nice. Oh, realistically, I want to get out of this zone. Something about the warehouse just like drains me of all my spirit. It's a very dull area. I want the beautiful shop floor with the shining furniture and the beautiful wood floors. Not all this concrete and the creepy TVs. I think it was back here. You know, now that I think about it, this is kind of like Minecraft in a way. You've like think about it. You've got the different biomes. You know, this is like your kind of grassland area. The warehouses would be your kind of tundra mountainous area. You've got the gardens, which would probably be like the jungle area. The kids' room, which you could class as maybe like the snowy area. And the whole purpose of the game is to kind of break all the materials around you and construct whatever you can out of it. Oh my good god, I think I've just killed myself. Yeah. Cool. But we start back where we are now, and hey! That was probably better for us anyway, because we found the kids' room. Or the kids' floor? Whatever you call it. Wow. So it's not actually very big. And we are right next to a warehouse as well. Kind of like in the middle of the furniture, the kids section, and the warehouse. Mr. Creepy again, sticking around. Oh, no kids' room is complete without one of these. Don't tell me you didn't have one of these. Everyone had one. I bet you had one too. Maybe we get plastics from the kids' furniture, which probably would be a good idea. Or is it? No, it's just wood as well. Okay. I'm sure later on down the line, maybe you'll get a different material out of it. I think I'm breaking the car. I think. Or I'm breaking the floor. Feels like the floor, actually. Yeah, let's not do that. What can we make? 1 piece of metal and 4 pieces of wood. Probably not a lot. What do we need for a hammer? 2 metal, 2 wood, 2 fabric. So this is our second piece of metal. There we go. And we can use all of that to craft our hammer. Sweet. That will make hitting both enemies and furniture a lot easier. I thought about not going into the underground base, but it would be a crime not to, I think. So we're going to go and do that. And while I'm heading over there, this lovely nighttime atmosphere is going to be a perfect opportunity to revive the SCP Story of the Day. Or SCP Storytime, as it was called back in the days of 3008 in Lab Rat. For anyone who's not familiar, it was kind of like the idea to try and bring a bit more light to some of the SCPs that aren't always talked about or played about in these SCP games. When you think of SCP, you think of 096, you think of 049, and while that is SCP, it's not all of it. So the SCP Story Time, SCP Story of the Day, whatever you want to call it,
Anything you've stolen?
it's a good opportunity to kind of share what else the Foundation is all about, and some of the other SCPs that aren't so typical in these games. And today's SCP is SCP-1545, which is a safe class SCP. So if I've got the story right, this SCP was found in an abandoned suburban home where 2 bodies were found lying dead next to SCP-1454. 1545. It's like a passcode to remember in a horror game. And the autopsies on these bodies revealed that the first body died a day before the second body, and there were signs that this body had been dragged around for that duration of the day. They had bruising all over their body. And after this, the Foundation confiscated it and took it to Site 40, where it has been kept in a secure locker with level 3 access. Recently got bumped up to level 4 access when they did some testing with an object. But, of course, if we don't know what it is, we're not going to know anything about that. So SCP-1545... Oh, hello. I'm telling a story. You either enjoy it or you die. So SCP-1545 is a 2-person llama costume that is typical in almost every way. So, you know, there's one person that stands in the front, they stand upright, and they form the front 2 legs and the head. And there's one person who can fit in the back. They've got their back legs forming the 2 back legs of the llama, and then they bend forwards and form kind of like the rear end. The llama's also wearing galoshes, I think they're called. I really hope I haven't butchered that, which are basically... they're like rubber boots, like rubber shiny boots. So picture a llama costume in rubber shiny boots. But of course, it wouldn't be SCP without its anomalous properties. So the properties kind of affect when the person puts the costume on. And something I didn't mention is that the tag at the back of the llama, I think we found our garden, is called basically Larry the Loving Llama. A groan of agony before it eventually dies. So when 2 people put on Larry the Loving Llama's costume... Oh, these are amazing. They give you a plank of wood each. They basically get very, 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 very into the role of playing Larry the Loving Llama. So the one at the front acts and behaves as if he is Larry the Loving Llama, talking as if really this character is Larry the Loving Llama. And the one in the rear end, basically its job is to be a butt, so it does a bit of jiggling, it does a bit of wiggling, maybe it lets out a fart or 2. It's just a butt, so you definitely won't want to be the rear end in that scenario. But the idea is that they're so engrossed and they're so willing to be Larry the Loving Llama that they don't need for anything else. They won't go and eat, they won't go to the toilet, but they will still have that need. So over time, their bodies will become dehydrated, they will become hungry, and if no one gets them out the costume, they will eventually die. I think the two most common ways that they could die in the suit is either by dehydration or by infection due to the fact that they will be urinating and defecating inside the suit, and that's going to cause a lot of disease and flies and grossness to come into the costume and cause a lot of infection. So that's really grim. Oh, so many planks of wood though out of this. And does this give you metal? Okay. Kill a wheelbarrow, you get a bit of wood. Questionable, to say the least. 46 bits of broken wood though. The garden is the gold mine for collecting materials. So the only way that the people will leave the suit is if they are forcibly removed by someone else. And Larry the Loving Llama is a loving llama, so he's not aggressive in any way. And so the people inside of it aren't going to be aggressive when you try to take them out. So they will kind of reluctantly come out if you give them a nudge and pull them out. And when they come out, they will have memories of being Larry the Loving Llama, but they just won't think that any of it was wrong. So they'll, if they're in there for 3 days, they come out, they're absolutely emaciated, they're starving. They'll probably come out and be like, yeah, you know what? I'm a little bit hungry, but it was fun, I had a great time being Larry. And in the event that one of them dies, the other person will be like, yeah, he's just having a bit of a rest, he'll be fine, just give him time. But of course, we all know the dark truth. And then, in the event that one of them should die inside of the costume, the other one will actually carry on being Larry the Loving Llama, or whatever half they are. So if the front one dies, they'll just be this little wiggling butt until that eventually dies. Which is so dark, but also I just can't get the image out of my head of someone just trying to be a butt while the other side of it's dead. Oh my god, I'm a monster. Oh, okay. But yeah, so if one of them dies, the other one will try to be the other half up until they eventually kind of expire as well. And that's basically the SCP. So it's kind of like a fun one. It's one of those ones where you could imagine it being in a video game. Just because of the fact that you could obviously tell that there's two people in it, because it'll be such this kind of slim and floppy costume. So you'll obviously tell that there's a person wiggling as the butt and a person wiggling as the face, but you'll talk to it and interact with it as if it is almost like a puppet. So it will have this kind of character as Larry the Loving Llama. It'll be all bright and happy, but you know that there's this dark truth on the fact that two people have to sacrifice themselves to become Larry. And if you're not going to help them out, then no one else is going to help them out, and you know that eventually it's going to take them. And another thing that I'm kind of interested in is, does it affect things like other SCPs? There is an event attached to it, which is all about I think it was something to do with, they put an object in it, and that object also thought that it was Larry the Loving Llama, or it went mega charged, something like that. I don't really know. I'm gonna have to go back and read that one. But if you put something like 049 in there, if you manage to get 049 inside of Larry the Loving Llama, is that character's entire being gonna change, and it's gonna have the same 049 voice but suddenly be this chirpy Larry the Loving Llama? Because that would be the funniest thing to see. I guess you probably couldn't get someone like 106 in there because it would just, merge through the costume and teleport you to the pocket dimension and end your life before you have a chance to do anything else. But you could definitely get some of them in there just for experimental purposes. It could be really fun. So I have been chopping wood for about 2 years now, and I've collected 150 pieces. So we're definitely going to get a base here, as long as we can find somewhere nice to hang out. We could go near the sky base. That could be fun to get a feel for that. I didn't manage to locate the underground base to go down there, which is a shame. Unless I can find it again by going up these stairs. But if we can't do the underground base, then maybe I can make it up to you by doing the sky base. We will do one of them by the time this episode ends. Okay, how many staircases does it take to get over there? Should we just try? We're going to make the stairway to heaven. Okay, we're doing it. This is it. It's really annoying that I have to go back and click it every time. But if wood's the only thing I have, then the stairway to heaven we're doing. We're going to build the Tower of Babylon. Oh, it looks like we're about to reach limits. Yeah, it's getting more and more red, which I think is going to stop us from actually building it. So there is some form of kind of gravity limits going on there. That's a shame. I wonder if you can just stack wool and get the verticality that way. Yeah, so I think this is the new building mechanics in that you got that snap. And I don't think we had that snap before, and that's really good, to be honest. That's going to help out a ton. Okay, and there's like a bit of a snap going on here with the stick. Case. Oh, come get me. I bet you can't. Ooh, I think we can just get a staircase here. Perfect. And then we could probably use the wall to create a bit more of a more solid foundation, because you can see on top of this staircase it's going to be yellow. But what we can do is build on top of the wall to make it a bit more of a greeny color, which is going to allow us to get more stacked staircases. And then as soon as we start to run out, we can just build another 3-set wall a bit further up and kind of brace ourselves off of that. This is going to look horrible. There's no planning or interior design coming out of this at all, but, you know, who cares? If we can get to the top, that's all that matters. Oh. But we can almost touch it, so, you know, not bad. Oh, can I not? Oh, blue. Okay. We're going to need to get a bit of a different angle on this staircase now. Oh, because it's attached to the ceiling. A little bit sketch, but it's perfect. We're up. We've attached onto the whatever this is. I'm calling it the backrooms for now because it looks like it. Up a bit higher. One more. We've done it. Huh. And what we discover, there is a phone. Is that inside? We try and break our way in. If I fall here, I'm going to die. Yeah, I need to be careful. If I break that and I fall, I'm dead. Let me try and break this side here. We'll try and like form a little hole that we can jump through. I've not got a very big hammer here, so it's going to take a bit of a while to break through, but I think we can do it. This is hell. Can I get in here? I want to get to that phone more than anything. Just around here somewhere? Oh, God. There. Hi. Hello? It stopped ringing. Can I at least get back the way I came? Okay. We haven't entered a completely different dimension, which is nice. Oh. But there's more. The game crashed? What? Oh no. The Unreal Engine 4 SCP-3008 game has crashed. Fatal error. What? Was that your plan all along? I've been had. Ooh. Okay. Progress. Over here? Aha. What's going on? I haven't done too much research into the backrooms yet. That's going to come at a later date for this channel. So I've avoided so far kind of understanding anything about it, anything about the entities, anything about the layouts. But I seem to have activated a phone that's playing a maddening rocking sound. Someone creaking in like a chair. I realize I'm getting deeper and deeper, which is probably the #1 thing you really shouldn't do in a place like this. Didn't think of this, did you, Backrooms? You think you could get me with your stupid maze system? Little did you know I came with a hammer! Make my own path. Ah! Much wider area. Happy with this. And those kind of like poles that have been holding everything up, they're coming through here. Crazy to think that we're just floating above a Infinite IKEA. This looks like death. Oh yeah. And then the inevitable turnaround. Monster at the end of the hall. Perfect moment. Aha! That's what I was looking for. A way out. So now we just wait for nighttime to appear and see if anything spooky happens inside. That's what I've been waiting for. And look what I've done. I've made a way up to the top. We've got a beautiful view of the IKEA. I've added a little bit of security. We don't have doors or anything that I can actually construct of any type. I've only got walls, floors, and a staircase. And I can't even make a bed because I don't have enough fabric, so that's a problem. But we could probably get to the other side of the back rooms and find what we need to find a bed here. And then, to be honest, this could be a nice little base for the night. Trouble is, we have to navigate the back rooms in the dark. And honestly, it's now got a very different feel to it. Oh, I think that might have just been an artifact from the corner, but I thought I saw something. And you have to remember, we only have a hammer now. So we can't do too much damage if something pops out. Ugh. Suddenly the lack of all noise is actually much worse than there being noise in the first place. I went that way because I broke that wall, but there's all of this. My curiosity's gonna kill me. You know what? I'm starting to see the appeal of the back rooms. It's very uneasy, actually. Oh, I've got shivers. I'll be perfectly honest with you. The idea of the back rooms has never appealed to me. I never really understood why there would be such a huge hype over something so kind of awful. Like, yellow's not the nicest colour that ever was. The idea of just this for infinity, well, yeah, okay, the idea of it's kind of cool. Making hundreds of videos and games and whatnot isn't really necessary. But I'm starting to see it now. And I roughly know of the more additions that have been added, the idea of multiple floors, and they've all got their weird and wacky properties and creatures and whatnot, but with this being like the kind of floor one, go all end all place that you end up, I'm into it. I really am. Oh, I'm sure this is very thematic, but I'm lost. I don't know where I am. It's very dark. It's very damp. It's very lonely. It's very creepy. And I don't know where I am. I'm kind of naturally gravitating towards these wide open spaces, but I think our way out is going to be down more of the narrow corridors. Oh god, what have I done? Dead end? I'll take either, to be honest. I'm just going to have to go back this way. I don't think it's the right way, but I just want to try and get back anywhere that I know and recognize. Oh no. I thought I'd had it. I thought we were back. I really thought. The only advantage I have is that I'm just praying that the random map generation is going to be not as optimized enough to create all these weird and wonderful paths that I can get lost in. And there's only so much floor space that I can actually explore. That's the only thing I'm clinging on to. Eventually, once I've gone down all these paths, we'll find our way out. Oh, I'm genuine. I just started looking behind me in my chair. Why am I creeped out? Why am I so creeped? We've been here before. Oh my god, I've done it. Oh, God. We're out. Get me out. No, it crashed. No! Don't put me back in there. Fatal error. You monster. Where am I? How bad is it? Where am I? Show me. Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Oh! Gently down. Well, as disgustingly hellish as this abomination of a structure is, it's the best we got for our bed tonight. So, I'm gonna plop it right here. And with that, we've found our cushy little corner that we can snuggle up in. Look how comfortable it is. You wake up, you lean out, you got this beautiful view, nothing to be afraid of. No fear of rolling over in your sleep and dying, plummeting 1,000 feet. Beautiful, set spawn point. Brilliant. So that is going to do it here for today. I've been recording for about an hour and a half now, maybe even 2 hours. This game is great. It's so good to get back into it. There's so many different features for us to explore. In the next one, we'll probably go and look at some of the underground stuff. I think that would be really, really cool. And we'll see what we can construct in some of the later ones as well. It seems like they've stripped out most of the crafting stuff. Before we were able to craft like doors, these kind of like little, kind of like walkways to go along your walls. You could craft all of those, you could craft lamps, and I'm missing all of that in my version. So I don't know whether that is something that's been stripped away or whether I'm being an idiot and there's different pages, but I will play around with it. I'll do a bit of digging and I'll see kind of what the status is with that. Other than that, if you've enjoyed this and you want a similar kind of SCP Infinite IKEA experience, I have another series that you can go and check out from the early days of the channel. And there's plenty of other SCP stuff as well. If you want more of like a basic introduction, I've got the SCP Lab Rats series you can check out. If you want to check out some of the other games that have been developing, there's SCP Blackout, there's SCP Secret Files, there's SCP Fragmented Minds. Lots to explore. And many more to come. So thank you very much for watching. Let me know what you think of the kind of reboot of this Alpha 0.3, I think it is. And I will see you all in the next time. So until then,